Morning, folks. Welcome to the first week of the postseason. Um, I'm sure 6 tenths of you guys are as disappointed as I am. 4 tenths of you are ecstatic to be there in the playoffs. So congratulations to you guys. We'll start with some of the weather for week 15. Uh, we've got Bears Packers, which is expected to be very cold. The official word is frigid, apparently. That's what they're saying. Dolphins Giants, very strong winds, expected to be about 20 miles an hour. And Broncos Chiefs looks like it might be a snow game with a couple of inches of snow falling throughout that game. That's going to be a very interesting one to watch. Let's start with Tom v Ryan in terms of our matchups. Great start for both sides in what I'm calling a must-win game here. Jackson for Tom and Ingram for Ryan, both off to flying starts for the Jets on Thursday night. Tom probably has a harder task going into Sunday. Everyone except for most is going to be traveling on a road. Therefore, I think I need to put my support behind Ryan to have a win here and go into the final. Crucial game here is going to be the cold game in Bears Packers, where you guys have got 3 guys going in that matchup. Let's move on to Ian v Triss. Again, another must win if you ask me. This one's a repeat of last week where Ian made about 100 odd and Triss failed to crack 50 points. He made a total of 3 changes to his lineup coming into this week. Ridley now on IR, so he's changed him for Metcalf. Washington is out for Pascal, and the Panthers D, which only managed about -3 points last week, have been replaced by the Patriots D, who are going up against Cincinnati Bengals offense, which I think in my mind is probably an upgrade. I support that decision. Ian has decided not to fix what isn't broke, and he's kept the same lineup. See how that works out. I think, to be honest, I've got to back Ian to win here. I think that 58-point deficit from last week coming into this week, I'm not sure those changes are enough to overturn that, really. So I'm sticking with an Ian Ryan final. This game features a lot of action that's coming in on Monday nights. So sure to tune in on that Colts Saints game, then to see how that affects your matchup this week. Me v Brad, we'll go into next. I've kicked Brad's ass twice already this season, and I'm happy to do it for a third time. I'm worried about the windy conditions and how that might affect the Giants throwing to Slayton. A lot of his receptions have come on deep targets. Wind can obviously affect the deep passing, but as long as he's going to keep that future Hall of Famer Eli Manning in his lineup, I'm happy to take points away from Brad by keeping Slayton in there for myself. Snow could also have a huge effect on my kicker. Butker trying to kick in the snow. I know he's one of the greatest kickers in the league, but you never like to see conditions like that. That said, I've benched him once before for bad weather, and I regretted that decision. It cost me points. So I'm not going to do that again to myself. I'm going to keep Butker in this time. But let's I think I'm going to say that I'm going to win this one. But we need to keep a close eye on the Rams Dallas game, and we'll see how that one turns out, because that's going to have a big impact on what I think is going to be a very close matchup between me and Brad. Stu v Phil. This one I'm really interested in. We have a fit to be Winston QB battle, which I love because they're both YOLO QBs, so we could both easily just throw for like 400 yards and end up with 10 points based on the amount of turnovers they throw in as well. Winston also comes in with a thumb injury he sustained last week in that game. It didn't affect him in that game, and in fact, he had one of his best best games of this season. Last week. So I can't see it hampering him in this one. So I think it's a solid start there. Stu, interestingly, starting Tyler Boyd at the time of me doing this. Tyler Boyd is in one of the worst offenses, and is going up against one of the worst offenses we've seen this season. And he's going up against a defense which I think is probably one of the best we've seen in several seasons. So that's a very interesting call to have him in the slot. I think with news about Josh Jacobs, that might change his starting lineup. But we'll see what happens there. Tough call. I think Phil wins this week. I'm going to say make San Fran hosting Atlanta your game of the week to watch. That's going to be the key one for you guys. Finally, we get to that renamed Shane game. Um, don't forget whatever happens this week, you've got next week to try and make up the points as well if you have a bad week. Because the renamed Shane game is played over 2 weeks. On paper, I think Mo has a much stronger team. He's got Gurley coming off a huge week. He's got Lockett, who's a deep threat. Jimmy G, who's a gunslinger. Andy, on the other hand, he's struggling to find a second wide receiver at the moment. I think it looks like Thielen's going to play, which is going to be very strong for him because he's still out without Juju Smith and Fuller, who is also questionable to go. I have to predict a healthy lead for Mo after this week. So I'm going to say this week, I think Mo wins. This game features 4 guys playing in the Browns-Cardinals game, which I feel is a perfect representation of the terrible quality that is the renamed Shane game. So you guys are now going to have to watch that one as a result of your lineup decisions. Guys, have a good week, and I will see you again in week 16.